this isn't for you, or for me. It's from me. It's relaxing to write and put into the world, to voice into the world, to create as a video in the world. That's great. Art is great. Just do it. No minimum quality required. Just do. It's great. So with that said, the video itself is a massive waste of time. Got time to kill? For as long as life has existed, so too exists death. As of this writing, death has not yet been cured. All humans are doomed to possess the knowledge of their mortality, their finite existence. So how do we always manage to touch the eternal current of oblivion and experience senescence while sitting in wait at the DMV? Human life is so crushingly short, and yet, by my perspective, I have always been here. I can't remember a time that I haven't existed. It's hard to cope with the inevitable demise given the status quo of unending consciousness. This is rather as if you imagine a puddle waking up one morning thinking, this is an interesting world I found myself in. An interesting hole I found myself in. Fits me rather neatly, doesn't it? In fact, it fits me staggeringly well. I must have been made to have me in it. This is such a powerful idea that as the sun rises in the sky and the air heats up, and as gradually the puddle gets smaller and smaller, frantically hanging on to the notion that everything's going to be all right, because this world was meant to have them in it. Was built to have them in it, so the moment they disappear catches them rather by surprise. I think this may be something we need to be on the watch out for. The past doesn't exist. By its nature, the past is what has happened. The past is not happening. Likewise, the future doesn't exist either. All we have is the present moment. In the present moment, I feel uncertain, yet safe. I'm not being attacked. I'm comfortably writing an essay. The uncertainty comes from what is provable about the reality of moments. How did I get here, to this moment? Well, I remember thinking about writing something like this, and now I'm sitting in my chair in front of my keyboard and tapping the script into a Google Doc on my phone instead of using the computer not 1 foot in front of me. This all feels true. In fact, I'd say it is true, but memories cannot ever be fully trusted. When you recall the past, your brain is rewriting your memory with every recollection. It's a frightening game of telephone that we all play with ourselves. It's wise to not put too much stake in the memories you have of events. You should be able to accurately recall a hazy description of things, but you won't be able to reproduce a precise description of an event just from memory. There are exceptions, of course, and I'm not a mind scientist. Is there a word for that? But my main point is to think of your memories not as my main point is to think of your memories not as set-in-stone facts of your past. Not as set-in-stone facts of your past. This all really sucks. It'd be fantastic to be able to fully trust our memory, and thus have easy access to our pasts, but we can't and don't, and thus my uncertainty arises and remains. I remember coming over to my chair and sitting down in it to prepare to write, but I can't remember exactly how it happened. I can't prove that it happened. I can't prove that it did happen. Descartes would probably give me a high five because I genuinely have no ability to reason that I even existed prior to my present. I'm clearly here in my present, existing and writing, but I might have just now come into existence to write this, and then will cease existence the moment of the writing's completion. Huge if true, and then there would be no reason to subscribe, but I don't genuinely believe that I have no past and no future. I just viscerally feel the ephemeral concept of the present every day, all the time. Geez, all this talk of philosophical knowing is exhausting, so let's kill some time. There are more books than you could read within your lifetime. There is more video uploaded to YouTube every day than you could watch in 5 lifetimes. Alright, that's a bit of a bummer. Here I was thinking about how cool it would be to have read all of the books, but now through logic and reason I am faced with the fact that it's an impossible task, but there aren't infinite books. but I still can't read them all. So, what is this? There may not be infinite books, but generally speaking, if you read books 8 hours a day every day for the rest of your entire life, you would still not run out of books. So functionally, there may as well be infinite books, right? It feels like an infinity, one we can grasp in our own finite lives. If you read that much book, you would probably cap out at just under 50,000 books for your lifetime. Very finite. But for my general purposes, I think of this as infinite. There are infinite books for me to read. Or, in general terms, if there's enough of something for me that I'll never in my life reach the end of it, then its supply is, in general, infinite. This does lead to unsavory results, such as capitalists treating Earth's resources as infinite, or the planet's ability to put up with our abuse of it with pumping shit into the air as infinite. And now a few generations later, we have 12 years to fix global warming or everyone will suffer. But in the low-stakes world of books, I'm rather comfortable with the incorrect claim that there are, in general, an infinite amount of books. It may not be true, but it's definitely the situation. The way my mind warps space-time footses everything into this mold, however. My inability to trust that the past is true, no way of predicting the future. Am I sitting in a movie theater watching a 2.5-hour film, or did I spontaneously come into being here with this set of memories, and is this the rest of my life? What is a second? I don't know. I can't feel seconds. It all feels so forever. Not necessarily long, not necessarily bad, but ongoing and permanent. Then Blade Runner 2049 ends, and I think, what a swell time, and the feeling of the infinite I was waiting through vanishes, when the present of sitting forever in a theater watching an enjoyable movie melts into the memory of doing so. The memory of seeing a movie is so much more concise than the act of movie-going, and it's so much less visceral. I turned to my partner, sitting in the chair adjacent mine in the Alabama theater prior to the live My Brother, and Me that we're about to enjoy, and I say, drink this all in, because later we'll be in our home, and this experience will just be a memory, and be forever unattainable. But for this moment, and this moment alone, we are here, and it is good. And it is good. Now, I didn't say that exactly, but it was something to that effect. The show was very real, very awesome, and the theater itself was intense, but this is just a hazy description of things. Now, I tend to see the descriptor that something went on forever or felt so long as an inherently negative thing. I'm here saying that you can feel this sort of thing even while you're enjoying yourself, and that it's not necessarily bad. An infinite amount of a good movie is infinitely good, I'd like to think. Personally, I'm infatuated with immortality. If you told me I could sit down and experience an infinitely long film that can maintain my enjoyment for as long as I'm there, I'd say, yes please, do sign me up and put me on the mailing list for that one. The GPS claims that it's a 10 hours drive from here to Michigan, where my partner was raised, and we've made that trip from, to, and from. It always lasts so long, but it's always over so fast. We usually don't stop at any motel, but just try our best to get through it comfortably. With gas and food stops, rest stops, it inevitably takes hours longer than the estimate. It's stressful at times, the roads get rather intense by my standards. Curves on cliffs with hills, and one time there was a construction on a Kentucky highway, so they made us drive through a town and it was all steep slopes with narrow corridors. I'm never the one driving. I do occasionally annoy my partner who is driving with my stressed outedness. I get nervous easily. Damn you, Kentucky and your creationist museums! It doesn't help that my sleep schedule is always wacky. I find I'm more nervous in a car when my eyes are heavy and dry. When I was a child, I often lied awake at night thinking about falling asleep. I was like, how's that happen? Is it just if you stay perfectly still for 15 minutes, poof, you're asleep? And I would never notice it happen. My perception would just be forever in my bed, in the dark, wondering about sleep. Sometimes for what felt like far, far too long. Then I wake up and it's tomorrow. Now, I've been around long enough to notice that effect more clearly. It's not a poof, it's a slow waning of perception as my brain gets more colorful and dissolves smoothly into a dream state. A dream I'll definitely forget, unless it's the only one I have. You have so many dreams at night, but forget most every one of them. if woken up in the middle of a sleep cycle, an REM cycle, you're far more likely to remember the dream that you were having. So now, when I'm dreaming, I have potential future knowledge of a sort. Oh, I'm dreaming. This is me perceiving my dream. That means at some point during this dream, I will be woken up during it, else this sleep cycle would flow normally and this entire dream will be lost and I won't have any recollection of having perceived it. Obviously, if I do have this thought in every dream, then the majority of times where I'm thinking it inevitably fall into one of the sleep cycles that don't terminate, and thus I do forget having thought it. But it's sort of like a catch-22, but stacked against the house, because if I am thinking that thought every time, the only time I definitionally can recall having thought it while dreaming will have been a dream that terminated abruptly, so it isn't really future knowledge, but effectively it is, sort of, though the only time I definitionally can recall having thought it while dreaming will have been a dream that terminated abruptly and that I remember. So it isn't really future knowledge, but effectively it is, sort of. Though this sidesteps the fact that dreaming isn't the only sleep state you can be in. But anyway. The best example I have of general infinites that consistently shows up in my life is waiting for food at a restaurant. It's so tenacious because I forget the feeling so easily. I'm writing this bit while waiting for my meal, and I have to write it now because it's so easily forgotten. The infinite I spend waiting for my meal. Hungry, caught in anticipation. The stress melts away when I'm actually eating, and the wait is almost never so long as to ruin the meal in any meaningful way. So it's not something I ever think about just casually, but when I'm in that moment like I am now, the smells in the air, it's all I'm focusing on. It's an ongoing monologue that's somehow unbroken through time and space. Though I don't conceive of it in my day-to-day, when I sit back down for a meal, the thoughts come back and it's like I never left this weird infinite plane of waiting for food. I don't have a huge appetite, so the quickly encroaching fullness I get tends to fully obliterate any thought about the anticipation of food. Big Joel, this link is obsolete. I assume whatever sponsorship you had has ended, and now we're left with a page that self-terminates, which is itself rad. We have a page that you can open on your browser and then immediately closes itself, and an easily clickable link to it. And if my partner holds control for me and if my partner holds control for me and I use my good rhythm game hands to click real fast, the effect is so beautiful. Genuinely, I love this. I'm putting this in my video so that everyone can enjoy it. Awesome. Less awesome is mobile Twitter showing me ads all the time. It seems that advertising is all linked to actual Twitter accounts, and you can block those and never see the ad again, except there are so many things advertising on Twitter that I exhaust myself trying to block them all. Are there more than is blockable in a lifetime? Maybe, I doubt it, but I don't think I'll ever see the end of it, so it's generally infinite too. Fuck ads. Speaking of Big Joel, they've got a big amount of content on that there YouTube page, and I sure do love to go through it all. Binging a creator I found and love is an experience of immense pleasure, especially when they have a lot of content, more than I could get through in a day at least. It can feel endless, like here's a portal into an infinite realm of eternal good takes about the Twilight Zone. The fact that I will easily finish the backlog and run out of currently available new Big Joel or whoever content to watch is an inevitable sadness that will come, but in the moment it doesn't matter, and it just feels like a big ol' hug through my monitor forever. You enjoying it so far? I hope so. When this video started, you might have thought, gosh, I wonder where the heck this is gonna go, and it's certainly gone into place, but if you've been enjoying the sound of my voice, then right now you've been encapsulated in our own general infinite. I set this video as a premiere specifically so that anyone around at the time this goes out will not be privy to the length of the full video. But for everyone else, the video's runtime bar has likely faded out of view. So if you don't move your mouse or pause, you can pretend it's not there. So here I am, rambling on, and you're not necessarily sure how much longer this video is going to go on. Who knows, really? We could be half of the way through the video. We could be just 5 minutes in. Probably not just 5 minutes. But who can say? Here we are, engaged in content that captures our thoughts and offers some relatability and interesting ideas to ponder at length about. But alas, this can only be generally infinite when you both lack a scope of knowledge and while you're in it. After this is over, it'll fade. It won't be a premiere, and if you choose to rewatch this, you may see the runtime bar and instinctively know how much longer you have left, even after it fades out of view. Just the knowledge of how long the video is in total. If this is your second or more times watching, you may find that you remember bits and pieces fairly clearly, and you can feel the tug. The content is in your mind, placing itself before you, even while you aren't, to the next portion. Have you ever listened to an album over and over, and sometimes when you're listening, you can hear the next track start up in your mind's eye as your current track reaches its end, but the next track hasn't begun yet. Your mind is just predicting the pattern based on repeat exposure. Catchy. I'm still tickled at that. I'm always tickled at that. For some high-effort, low-engagement, general infinite video content in the description, you'll find 2 links by videos. No. For some high-effort, low-engagement, general infinite video content in the description, you'll find links to 2 videos by Vsauce's Michael Stevens on the Dong channel. Or, wait, it's Ding now, isn't it? One video, he lists prime numbers for a very long time, and another, he stares at a pot waiting for it to boil. These are very boring videos. The prime number one is great to sleep to, as it's literally 3 hours long, and I defy you to pay attention to it for that entire duration. You may or may not be a person who experiences gender dysphoria, but I guarantee a full dissociative episode is the result of your attempt to engage with that content as it goes on and 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 on, and it's vaguely comforting. I just noticed I left a comment on this video 10 months ago, all caps. I love this. I love this. Despite my frustrations with the fact of my own mortality, I enjoy killing time. No job, no school, not much of a life. Goals, yes. Dreams, yes. Goals, yes. Dreams, yes. Movement, sometimes. Enjoyment, desired. If I'm waiting for something to happen next month, then days are just the transition from here to there. So much time, and time is precious, and we are not immortal. But because time is precious, time is also antagonistic. Time is what gets us all in the end, so I say, fuck it. If I'm going down, I'm taking time with me. I'm killing time in revenge. Senseless, perhaps cruel, absolute slaughter of time. When I was a child, it came naturally. What will I do today? School, and then play on the Sega Genesis. What will I do tomorrow? Well, tomorrow's Saturday, so we'll go eat Tex-Mex with my family, and then play on the Sega Genesis. So efficient. And if time is really so precious, doesn't killing it make you feel powerful? I'm being very silly, demonstrably short-sighted, and arguably extolling bad advice, but sometimes when there's nothing to do, we sit down and read a book from the infinite collection, or a YouTube video from the ocean of potential videos. Or, hell, we sit down and make an obtuse mess of a video ourselves and contribute to the general infinite of our infinitesimal contribute to the general infinite of our infinitesimal existence in the vast finite world called Earth. Or called YouTube, as it turns out it's YouTube. I'm definitely talking about YouTube, which doesn't count as art. So it's definitely just killing time. I'm hungry. What's for dinner? Taco Bell again? Sure, they'll still be open. 2 beefy Fritos burritos apiece? Yeah, for under $5, that'll stuff us with carbs and end the ache of hunger. Let's pick up some soda too, actually. I need the caffeine. Why? Oh, I'm staying up, writing some bullshit to entertain myself and probe thoughts that I've been having. You're in it. This is in it. This whole conversation is in it. What? Oh no, this isn't real. This is a hazy prediction of a future conversation. Yes. No, we're not having a conversation. This isn't happening and never happened. And in fact, it's days after I wrote this. And the conversation definitely didn't happen. I wrote it and now I'm acting my half of it into my mic, as if the audience is hearing half of a conversation. I guess if I was in public, this would be like if I was just talking over the phone, but YouTube is public, and a microphone, has phone right there in it. So, anyways, I'm hungry. Taco break. This is actually, months later, I think. I was like, do I actually want to fucking record this stupid-ass fucking video? This is like fucking shitpost of a video. Anyways, taco break over, I guess. I'm back, and Dr. Pepper is sending me an uncomfortable message. You deserve this, .png. Also around 10 months ago, my video, Why Am I Crying? Golded by Eric Taxon. In it, I kept mispronouncing their name as Eric Taxon. Vid holds up, just rewatched, good video. It's about my life at the time and why in that moment I was so able to take to the song and cry, even though the song isn't necessarily sad. Now, for the sake of ceaselessly padding this essay to kill time, to overwhelm you with the general infinity of, podcast or something, this video is more like a podcast, though it is written. Anyway, let's talk about another song. Also, yeah, I know of written podcasts. It's a thing. This video is now Stealth, Why Am I Crying? 2, Strobe Light by Poa Poa P. Just spent too long trying to find the moment I first heard the song. I can describe that moment hazily, and it was on Facebook. A friend posted to another friend's wall, if I recall correctly, about 2 Vocaloid songs that are meta. Actually, I just downloaded all my Facebook information, so I might be able to find it. And I'm like, hey, Meta, I love Meta, let's listen to these. I don't remember the other song very well, but this one stuck with me. The first time I cried listening to it was at my parents' house over break, and I put it on in the side living room area for one of my brothers to listen to with me, since I am wont to do that sort of thing. And during this one section, I had to turn away and walk into the kitchen and hide because I just started tearing up and I didn't at all see that reaction coming. Later, I would listen to this song once every day or so, trying not to wear it out, and I would cry literally every time, generally around the same part of the song. I actually listened to the song again just recently before writing this section. It had been a while since I listened to the song properly with lyrics translated in the official video for it, and I wanted to see if I would still cry. You see, I've gotten more into the artist since then, and bridging out far past just that song, and I've put a lot of their music on my phone, including this song, and this song would play from my phone through the car speakers, and I wouldn't cry. Not because I didn't understand the lyrics, but I guess because I wasn't focusing on them that much. Anyway, I think I did still cry at least once in the car listening to this, maybe multiple times, not sure. Anyways, today, I did cry. I listened to it today, and I did still cry. Also, it was much earlier in the song, at a section I'd never cried at previously or really paid much attention to. I relate to the song differently now than I did the first time, I suppose. The first time was back in 2015, or maybe it was 2014? I'm not sure exactly. The part of the song that made me cry every time for days and weeks and months, and a very long time, was a part 2.5 minutes in, where the chorus is about to come back in. The first time the chorus hits, it's preceded by lines that are translated here as, I'm looking for meaning in life, the sounds bounding rhythmically. The second time, the part that really fucking gets me is, I'm looking for meaning in life, I walk because I was born. Even just writing these lines here into my script outside of the context of listening to the song, I verge on tears. It's just, yeah, fuck, I'm a simple person. I fear death more than anything, and I'm faced with the fact that the main reason I choose to keep living is because I'm alive. I didn't choose to exist, and I have no grand purpose, but I still choose to keep on existing. The meaning of life is what you make it, and thus, I'm also searching for meaning for my own life. I walk because I was born. I exist because I was born. I continue living because I was born. It hits me so deeply, God. I don't think I even have anything interesting to say here. The line just makes me cry now. The line just makes me cry. It's not making me cry as I'm recording this, but anyways. Cry now. Listen to Miku sing. Cry. It's so beautiful. The song itself just has this overwhelming atmosphere of oppressive melancholy. The tune feels like it's searching for meaning too, with the protagonist, with me, and it too finds inertia to be the main cause of all this. I continue on because I began, and here I am continuing on. But now, the part of the song that made me cry today, just a bit ago. Firstly, when the song began, I was like, ha! This'll be my coming out song. The cat comes down and it's like, I'm trans, putting my own spin on it and such. And this thought influenced how I read the opening lines. Don't you notice yet? I'm starting to walk in ways I believe in. Here, again. Speaking of verging on tears, I'm literally crying while writing this, and if you can hear that in my voice, it'll be due to actually being struck by it all again. Almost, but not quite. Literally while recording this script into my mic. Again, not quite. Right. I knew it. I'm the same as ever. The oppressiveness of the atmosphere, of the instrumentation, now being extrapolated and interpreted in my mind as I'm listening to this, as the constant state of dissociation a trans person like myself faces with every moment of every day prior to hormone therapy. Spoilers, I'm on hormones now, and I'm still dissociating. Oh God. Maybe I'll try to start walking. Me, in the past 4 months, attempting to finally, after over a year of solid self-acceptance of my identity, pushing forward towards the goal of transitioning, calling therapists, booking sessions in that distant time. It's the goddamn General Infinite again! How dare you predict my essay, song? Anyways, this is my favorite song of all time. Rest in peace, Poa Poa P, aka Shinomota, who tragically left us July 23rd, 2015. Or, unfairly, the 3rd anniversary of this YouTube channel, July 23rd, 2015. Fuck. I was already crying every other day from your music. How did I miss this? I found out like a month afterwards I missed this. How did I miss this? You're gone. Fuck. It was already personal to me, but now it's more personal. At this point, I had only heard a few of their songs, and I was determined to find more, to appreciate this artist more, and all of the music has this oppressive atmosphere about it. It's so melancholic, it's existential as fuck. It's all leading to the death. I could feel it in the lyrics. It feels like it's... I know it's it's inappropriate to speculate, but it all feels like it's leading up to his passing. It feels like it's all leading up to their passing. I can feel it in the lyrics and in the tone and the instrumentation. But let's not make some sort of gross fucking Max Landis diatribe about this. All right? It's just music. It isn't magic. Here's a snippet from the song that Poa Poa P released on the day of their death. Here's a snippet from the song that Poa Poa P released a few months after their own death via a friend of theirs. And you should see the Nico Nico Doga release of this song. I love that video platform with the scrolling comments filtering in as the video plays. Look at this. Just look at this.
夏生きなくなりを繰り返しただ死にたいとを言い換えずにそんなことを少し前まで思っていた何よりも輝く理由を知るまでもない方がよかった勇気があってこそいるからとみんな考えちゃ負けさ言うてたけもう遅いよ遅いよいけない曖昧にない曖昧にないいろんな自分と色づいて考えらない考えらないどこまでもいける気がした今思い返せば綺麗だった空が地面に変わるくらい誰かがこう歌うのを思っていたきっかけが悲しくても変われると想像で終わったシーンだって心の底から愛に一振り返りゃ負けさ言うてたけどどうすんのね信じらんない信じらんないいろんな人が引き止めて向き合いたくない向き合いたくないどこまでもいける気がしたさっきまで見えなかったものが急に見えた気がしたどうして気づけなかったのでももう遅い曖昧にない曖昧にないいろんな自分が色づいて痛い痛い痛いさようならがこびについた最後に一言最後に一言何も言われても誰が引き止めても私は歩くよでもなる方へと
I was confused about the 8s. Then I remembered my Japanese language teacher telling us that the word for clapping is pachi? And 8. Why? That's hachi. And the ha becomes pa with a bit of circles, or at the very least it qualifies as a pun of some kind. But the point is that it's clearly a Japanese internet mimetic way to simulate applause. It's like the comment section equivalent of a goddamn standing ovation. And Godspeed, Poa Poa P, into the next life. Fuck, this is less why am I crying and more why aren't you crying, you bastard? You cry or where's even your soul? Though if it doesn't hit you the same way it hits me, and me in the future reading this, it's, I'm okay. That's fine. Plus, this is just my recreation of how it felt to me, so I don't expect you to necessarily get hit with it like how I did. All this is in a completely different form. It's in video essay form. Different context, different feelings. Is this an essay? Is this a fucking essay? Hold on. Is this a fucking video essay, you bastards? Don't know if I'm actually going to include that. I have a beard because I'm a fucking NB, and you don't get to fucking judge me. Fuck you. There are lots and lots of other times in life where we feel put into a moment of infinite. I'm not going to discuss using the restroom while sick or anything related to healthcare, but you should be able to get it at this point. You could write your own bumbling you could write your own bumbling paragraph about that. Returning now to infinite books, Google up The Library of Babel. It's a short story, but someone coded a version of it, like in the description to another Michael Stevens video talking about it. I'm 23 years old, and due to me playing an MMO, I got to talk to like a 16-year-old the other day. It reminded me of when I was a teenager. And holy fuck you guys, the general infinite of being a teenager need not be understated. You're a teenager for so long. When you're 13 to when you're 19 is 6 years of your life, and when you're 13, 6 is almost half of your life. And you don't really have memories from before age 3 or so, and between 3 and 13 tends to be very spotty. So 13 to 19 is basically the entire beginning of your life, and it feels so long. It's like you're gonna die. It's like it feels like there's no past 19. Like the idea of past teenage, just like it's not real. But then, when you become an adult, it's like, oh, I have so much ahead of me. There's like so much life. And like being a teenager was piss. It's dumb. Fuck it. But like when you're a teenager, it's just like, what? There's nothing. It's this. This is it. This, like, blah. My life is so long. But it's not. It's short. But it's like, it feels so. That's the point of the video. Anyways. Where was I? Okay, yeah. Your life, and it feels so long, and nobody likes you, and everyone condescends to you, and you have no rights, and you can't do things you want to, and everything sucks, and school sucks, and it's all bad, and anyone who survives being a teenager is braver than the Marines, holy shit. Anyway, the teen I was talking to shut me down when they found out that I drink, which is hilarious. Whatever, though, they intentionally misgendered me, so if you're watching, fuck you. And now for the long portion of this video. I told you we're wasting time in defiance of the importance of time, and we're transforming this space into one of a general infinite, a vast nebulous amount of stuff being said and being done, and etc. It's now a Let's Play of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. Goodbye, script. Before this scripted section ends, do note that you're allowed to leave here as if this is the end of the video, and the next section is just a very long credits roll or something. Please support me, my transition, and my existence on Patreon, which still uses the old name for this channel before I change it to simply Toni. Patreon.com/AnEntitledAbridger. Link in description and stuff. Hit like, hit subscribe, ring that bell. And now everyone that's still here, let's dive into this. Prepare for audio to suffer. Prepare for the audio quality to suffer. I had actually recorded a bit for that, and it's not that great, and like I'm a better player of the game now, and I wouldn't want to like embarrass myself like that. But I'm still not very good, so even if I record something new, it's still embarrassing. Whatever, this is still a premiere, right? So, okay. Did I actually go back and record a new Let's Play of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup? Wait 30 seconds. Wait 30 seconds to find out. 30.
Oh, good. That was like half an hour long.